Welcome to the Lean Out Your Business podcast, a show dedicated to helping entrepreneurs accelerate business growth and simplify success. I'm your host, Krista Grasso, and I've been working with businesses for more than 2 decades to help them lean out and optimize what's working while eliminating anything that's not adding value. So if you are ready to get more time back in your day, more profit in your business, and to do business differently, growing and scaling on your terms, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Lean Out Your Business podcast. Today, I'm going to be giving you a behind the scenes on the future of operations. I just wrapped up the launch of my new brand, Strategic Ops Institute. And to celebrate the launch of the brand, I did a combined launch party and workshop all about the future of operations, diving into some of the critical shifts that really need to happen in business to make sure that you're set up for success and scale next year. So here's some of what I covered in that workshop. And scale as we go into next year. But the things that we're going to be talking about for 2025 are certainly things that you can apply for Q4 so that you can actually finish this quarter out really strong as well. So really excited to be sharing a few of the changes that I'm seeing in the market, a few of the things that I think would be really helpful to prepare yourself for as we go into next year. And then the thing we're also excited about is the launch of our new brand. So you will see down below 2 logos. So if you have been with me for a while under the Lean Out Method brand, that has changed this year. The way that we market our businesses, the way that we sell in our businesses, the way that we position our offers, the way that people are making buying decisions, there is really a lot that has shifted this year. And there aren't too many businesses or too many people who haven't been impacted either direct that I've seen in businesses have been more marketing forward. But the reality is that the way that you operate your business needs to change too. When we look ahead to next year, you probably have some brilliant big, bold vision and goals for the year. And that's great. That's amazing, right? But in addition to the marketing things that you're doing, we also need to make sure your business is operationally set up to be able to handle that growth and to be able to handle it in a way that's very sustainable. So we need to be thinking about how our operations and things change as well. So that's a lot of what we're going to dive into. What are those big market shifts that I'm seeing? I'm breaking it down to kind of the top 3. What you really need if you want to achieve your vision next year and set yourself up for success and scale. And then we'll dive into the new brand and do the giveaways. We'll do the giveaways at the end. Debbie, a lot of things I learned a couple of years ago for launching a business have changed now. Yes, it's so true. It's the things that we used to do are really just not working at all anymore. Can be a little unsettling for people, but the good news is what I'm finding is it tends to be more of like a 15-degree shift instead of fully throwing things out and starting over. Although I know many businesses that have taken that approach as well. So for those of you who do not know me, I'm Krista Grasso. I am founder of Lean Out Method, founder of Strict About Things in Your Business. And I probably don't need to tell you this one, but I'd say one of the number one big shifts that a lot of businesses are reacting to and figuring out how to integrate, one of the most significant shifts that we might honestly be experiencing in most of our business journeys. And I say that as someone who started a business back in 1992. Yes, I'm that old. But that being said is really, AI, and AI is not new this year. AI isn't even, something that really kind of hit the scene in a big way this year. It's been around for a while, but for some reason it hit that point where it is moving at such a fast pace that all of a sudden it is all everyone's talking about. And in the past, AI used to be a competitive advantage. Right? If you could figure out how to use technology to automate some of what you do, to be able to do what you do in less time, to be able to generate more profit because you're automating, you're having to do less things, you're having to invest less time. And it used to give you the ability to increase your capability. So as a small team, you were able to show up as a much bigger team, right? That used to give you a really fantastic competitive advantage. Today, it's not really a competitive advantage anymore. It is an absolute necessity. And so there's the businesses that have adopted it There's those that haven't. And then there's those in the middle that are like, well, I kind of use it for some social media content, but I know there's so much more that I can be doing with it. And the reality is AI is a very big disruptor for how we work, I think in a super positive way, such a positive way. And so I want to look at that a little bit, right? Most people do think sometimes of automation, but usually I see most people when they're starting off in dabbling in AI and using it, they tend to do a lot of content ideation and content creation. And that is certainly valuable, but there is so much more that you can be doing with AI. And I like to think of AI as like your entire team of AI assistants, right? They can help you with customer service, with marketing, with sales, with social media, with HR, with copywriting, with research and analysis. You can have an entire team of operations with AI, right? And so there's so much that you can be doing. And I would challenge you to say, where are you using it today? And where might you be able to just even make a 5% shift in what you're doing where you can leverage it even more to get yourself back more time and increase your profit margins, which gives you the ability to do a whole lot more. So here's some of the use cases that I see. The list is long. I actually have a guide that has 100 different ways that you can use AI. These are just a few that kind of jump out at me, right? Search engine, research and analysis, right? Where you used to go Google things, now you go chat GPT things, right? It's you don't even use search in the way that you used to anymore. A lot that you can do with your client experience and really up-leveling your client experience. A lot you can do with managing tasks, really improving your team experience and your team management, your onboarding process, making sure that you're not missing things in your offboarding process, making sure that your security is improved, your operations are running much more smoothly and more streamlined, and that you're optimizing things. And one of my absolute favorite ways to use AI is to clone yourself. And I'm actually going to let Annie and Jess jump in here and share some of their AI thoughts. Well, I take you behind the do. I think you always want to ask yourself, how can this enable me to do things better, faster, and cheaper? Because that's the name of the game. It's not a shiny new tool to just play with because it's fun. It should allow you to improve the results that you're already getting, should allow you to get those results in a faster way, and it should allow you to get those results in a more cost-effective way as well. So you're increasing your profitability. And this is my little tagline. Anyone in my programs hears me say this all the time. Say it with me. Don't ask me, ask ChatGPT. And so I say this all the time because it's memorable and it sticks in people's heads. And I tell my clients, you can actually ask me. It's okay. You don't have to not ask me questions. But I want people thinking about the fact that you can go and ask ChatGPT almost anything. Yes, there's hallucinations. Yes, sometimes it makes things up. There's all of those concerns that people say, but it's not that common. And if you ask it to cite sources for something that's really important, you'll have the confidence that it's giving you real data. But again, if you say it with me, don't ask me, ask ChatGPT. And just think of that all the time. And if you get in the habit of asking or leveraging your AI team, there's a lot that you're able to do and move forward in your business. I also use the AI tools in Canva. Absolutely. All right. So here's some tips right there, and then I'll do some tips for founders. Is really, if you are an operational leader, AI is really dramatically changing operational roles, right? A lot of what ops people had done previously is going to be increasingly more automated. And so the role of an operations person is one that is needing to become more of a strategic thinking role, much more of a leadership role, someone who can holistically understand and piece together all the facets of the business in a way that AI is not ever going to be capable of doing. So the role of an operational leader shifts a little bit, and I think we're going to see it shift pretty dramatically next year. So I think it's important as an operational leader to understand how and where a business should be leveraging AI and where they shouldn't. And how do you integrate it into the operations for simplicity and scale? So if you are a founder, be thinking about how your team can be supporting you with this. And as a founder, you need to definitely create the time, space, and budget to invest in AI, right? Maybe you already are, maybe you use it quite a bit, but like I said, think about how you could do even 5% more with AI from an automated perspective to get yourself back significantly more time, and again, increase quality and all those things that we talked about. So as you're looking at your overall strategy for 2025, make sure that AI is a part of that. Look at where it makes sense to automate where you can, and where it really makes sense for your brand, where you want to maintain that human touch because it's kind of integral to the experience you're trying to deliver. And look at how AI can integrate into your team, into your operations, really all of the different facets of your business. And certainly either, someone on your team, your business needs to be leveraging and know AI. So if that's not you personally, make sure that someone from your team is building this skill. One of the things I'm going to tell you about when we talk about Strategic Ops Institute a little bit more is our new Soul Collective, which I'm quite excited about. And one of the things we focus on in Soul Collective is AI. So that's a good resource for that as well. All right, market change number 2, fractional CMOs and marketing agencies are on the rise. And as an ops person, as someone who works with ops people all day long, the thing that I hear constantly from people is, I don't understand why small business owners always pick marketing and sales over operations. They don't understand that operations are critical. They can't achieve their goals without it. I hear this every single day when I'm having conversations with people saying, how do I get them to see the value of operations instead of just hiring marketing people? And the reality is, it's not marketing or ops, it's marketing and ops. You really truly need both. Both are critical. One is not more important than the other. They both feed one another. You need to drive growth in the business, but you need your operations to be able to deliver what you sold and to be able to support that growth. So it's not an or, it's an and it very much needs to integrate together in a strategic way. Now, with the expansion of CMOs, right? Anytime there's something like this that hits the market, you get a lot of people that learned how to spell CMO yesterday who come out with this fancy new certification and promise the world, and they have the best of intentions usually, but it doesn't always mean that they have the years of experience or the depth of kind of knowledge yet to really be able to help companies get results. And that unfortunately can be really disappointing when that happens. But there's also some really incredible people and incredibly skilled people like Miss Annie P. Ruggles, who works with businesses and helps them get the exact results that they were hired for. So best case scenario, you hire a digital marketing agency, you hire a fractional CMO, and your business has all sorts of growth. Awesome. Can you keep up with it operationally? Can you actually deliver what you sold and still create a really exceptional client experience? That's where I say it has to be marketing and ops, not marketing or ops. And then worst case scenario is you have a really big expense with very little to show for it, but your business is left with a lot of complexity and chaos behind the scenes from a lot of those changes. And if you're in a place where you're like, I just wish I had a marketing person that I could trust, that's where Miss Annie P. Ruggles, operational right-hand person, comes in to support you in that. And so I'm super curious for all of you what your kind of experience has been with how that front-end growth has the back-end operations to support it. You want both of those. And the other thing that's super important is you want to make sure that everything's integrated together. You want it fully integrated into one cohesive ecosystem so you don't have fragmentation, where you have one thing that works over here and one thing over here and one thing over here, but those things don't connect together. They don't talk to one another. And sometimes you've got a lot of duplication and things that just don't really work in an optimal way. So for operational leaders, really important to understand how to effectively and efficiently get rid of all that waste, that complexity, that chaos, everything that gets introduced every time you introduce something new in the business. Make sure that you're streamlining things. Make sure you're thinking about sustainability and really systematizing where you can. Always be thinking about the client experience. You want to be elevating the client experience holistically, not treating it as two separate experiences. The experience through someone making a buying decision and the experience after someone making a buying decision. It should be one end-to-end client experience, and it should be equally good all the way throughout. And then certainly close team gaps. So these are some things to be thinking about for your operational team if you're a founder, or for you if you are an operational leader. And as I said, growth and operations, make sure it's balanced. Another piece of that that's really important is a lot of times we get very focused on the short term, like need to bring in cash right now. End of the year is coming. I want to hit my financial goals. What can I do to bring in cash right now? Great, like quick win, short-term cash strategies, not a bad thing in business ever. But where they can get you in trouble is if you're so focused on short-term, you're not building that long-term sustainable piece as well. So you always want that constant blend of everything. So for founders, make sure your operations are proactive, not reactive, right? Don't wait until you have such a fire drill and such a desperate need to invest in your operations. As you're planning ahead to 2024, make sure this is a key part of your plan and really make sure that someone on your team is ensuring that all the facets of your business are fitting together. So you do have something that integrates and works really well and cohesively. What I certainly recommend is hiring a CSOO, a Chief Strategy and Operating Officer. I'll tell you a little bit more about that when we get into Strategic Ops Institute. All right, market change number 3. We all know buying behaviors have shifted. Somebody said this in the chat when we were first getting started, that was something that they've experienced, right? So buying cycles are elongated. Business owners are much more discerning in who and what they invest in, right? It kind of is what it is. So if we know that, what do we do about it? How do we make those changes, right? What sold well last year, it's not selling well, or it's not selling in the same way today. How things were sold last year, not really working today. So we have to keep evolving. We have to keep making changes. But the thing is, it's not just your programs, your products, and your services. It's also the way people are building out their team. It's the way people are investing in who will support them. A lot of people, it's also the people who are themselves either working with clients or that they show up and their expectations are different. So it's like the whole ecosystem has shifted more dramatically than I think a lot of people realize, because most people tend to be pretty just focused on the offers. But as you're looking at, especially for those of you who work with other business owners, if you don't work with business owners, you'll still experience this to some level. But a lot of people right now are much more willing to hire a freelancer, much more willing to hire an agency, much more willing to hire someone on a contract basis so they don't have to hire another employee. So they don't have to bring someone else in on their team. And as employee demands have shifted and people are expecting so much more per hour and so much more for benefits and a lot of those other things, or they just don't want a full-time job anymore. There's more opportunity for things like done-for-you services. There's more opportunity for fractional services. That's part of why we see the rise of the fractional CMO. So there's a lot of different shifts that have been going on in the market. So if you are someone who provides advisory or done-for-you services for a business, this is the time to go all in on that, to really, really highlight that and do that. Certifications and trainings are very much on the rise. Hence the Strategic Ops Institute. When you think about your business model, think holistically about what some of those changes are. And the question that I always tell people to reflect on is, your client's life today is different than what your client's life was a year ago. Their same problems, the things that keep them up at night, all of those different considerations, their motivations for buying things, their willingness to invest in things, a lot of that looks different today. So make sure that you are elevating and evolving your interactions with clients, having more just conversations with people so you can get to the heart of it. But that is also another really great way to use AI to support you. Nothing beats a conversation with a real person, but in a pinch, AI can help you kind of get at what are some of the things that are influencing people's buying behaviors today. So this one's really, really important. So as I ask you the question in the chat operations perspective, right? Few businesses right now are investing in nice to haves. They are very much investing in must have, and they need to see a very clear ROI. And so people who have strong operational expertise, that's amazing, but it really needs to be up leveled to include more strategy, more scaling expertise, things that can really help and support the business with the sustainable and scalable growth that they want. And so it needs to be seen as that critical role that it really is. And so that's where I'd say operational expertise alone is not enough. And as you look at your teams, as you look at those who support you, right, how can you help them get those skills as well, where they can be more strategic thinkers, where they can understand scaling, like not scaling as a concept, but like they understand how to operationally scale your business, right? And so think about that when you're thinking about your team. And then for founders, right, when you look at your offers, you might need to reimagine the packaging, the pricing, or the positioning for your offers. More often than not, it's the packaging and the positioning. Sometimes it's the pricing, depending on how you change those two things. But if you sell a really high ticket offer, which a lot of us do, One of the other things that used to work in the past is you used to be able to do something free, kind of right to high ticket. What's working a little bit better today is having a really high value, lower investment offer. And so if you do that, this is not to go off and distract yourself and create something new. But a lot of times, if you have that high ticket program, I always like to think, is there a piece of it that you could carve off as something, as a standalone, really high value, but lower ticket entry point for someone to come in? And if you have a lot of different things to choose from, always choose from the one that will give someone the momentum and the quick win, and maybe even solve one of the problems that could keep them from making the investment in your program. Like, could they get back more time? Could they get back more money? Could they get back whatever that objection is that they would normally have? And so that can be incredibly valuable. I just caution against creating something brand new, because that's always the longest path to results. And instead look at what is something you have that maybe you get great feedback on already that could stand on its own as that entry offer for people. Certainly go, more solution focused versus awareness focused. I think a lot of times in the past, it's like, I'm going to cast this net as wide as I possibly can and try to get everybody. It's like, no, speak to a very, very, very specific, narrow niche. And you'll certainly have better results in this market. And then, up level or expand your team to support the changes and the future growth ahead of you. And I highly recommend having a really solid right-hand person. If you already have one on your team, you could certainly up-level them, send them for training. We have the certification programs I'll be telling you about. Or if you do not have one today, getting a solid right hand in your business, I think, is one of the most transformational things that you can do. So certainly as you plan forward for next year, that's one that I would be looking at. They will be able to support you through all of the things that are changing in the buyer cycle and the buyer journey. All right, so we are going to dive into our next section here, and don't worry, we are going to get to giveaways. I'm going to tell you all about the brand, but first let's look at what's needed to achieve your vision, right? So really at the end of the day, as much as visionaries love to envision, we love to ideate, we love to put new things out because it's fun, sexy, it's what we do best. It's why we started a business. The reality is that your business operations are the thing that actually give you the freedom and the results that you want in your business. But they need to be really intentionally designed to achieve your vision, right? Vision is not achieved by accident or luck. It's achieved through intention and focus. And so what you want to do is get really clear on your longer term vision and your vision for 2025. What does success look like, right? If we're meeting a year from today and we're on another call here and I'm saying, why was this the best year you've ever had in your business? Or why was this the year that you hoped it would be in your business? What would have had to have been true? What would that look like? And then how can you set 90-day goals or some kind of incremental measures throughout the year so that you're moving yourself towards that vision and you're keeping the focus that you have? You always want to balance clarity and commitment with space for innovation and adaptation, right? Nothing makes a visionary entrepreneur feel more confined and more bored with their business than something that is planned to the micro detail and they have no opportunity to come up with a brilliant idea or make changes. But at the same time, if it's all brilliant ideas and changes, you're not actually delivering or consistently doing what you need to for the results that you want in the business. So it needs to be that happy balance between the two. And you need that overall ecosystem for the scaling results that you want. That to me is strategic planning. That comes down to good old strategic planning, right? Really important that you are able to connect your vision to the actions that your team does and that your team has the skill set to be able to support that. So for operational leaders, right, you want to make sure that everything you and the team is doing supports that vision. You're not off doing kind of random things. Everything has a very clear intention and purpose behind it. The strategic plans that you're building are lean. They are going to get results in a simple, sustainable way, not adding more complexity and too muchness. You want to anticipate change and leave space for innovation and adaptation, right? A lot of operational leaders want that planned to the T with no changes. That's not reality in a small business. So how do you balance both of those and make sure that you are thinking of that scaling ecosystem as well? And that's where up-leveling your skill set would be really valuable. So here's what success and scale looks like in the new year, right? At the end of the day, you want a business that's not only scalable, but that's also sustainable, right? You need, especially going into the new year, you want to be focused on sustainability. And a mistake that I see people make a lot with scaling is that they think about scaling as addition, whereas scaling is actually amplification. Scaling is amplifying something that's already working. It's not going off and creating something new. And that's really important. You want to keep things really simple. And to do that, that's where that ecosystem comes in. And this is where, if you've been on my list for 4 minutes, you have heard me talk about SPSTI. I talk about it all the time. But to me, this is the ecosystem that your business needs for simple and sustainable scaling. You need to have the right strategies, the planning to support it, the right systems and team, and the right insight to know what's working. That's your strategy, planning, systems, and team. That's what lets you actually achieve your vision without burning yourself out or burning your team out. And so when it comes to strategy, it's when you think about that vision, do you have the right business model and the right offer suite to get there? Are you focused on the right things that are actually going to make that a reality? Or are you distracting yourself with lots of other things? Planning. Great. Now you know where you want to go strategically. Well, who needs to do what when to get there? Like, what does it look like? How are you going to actually make it happen? Systems. How do you repeat your positive results? And how do you streamline and keep things running really efficiently, really effectively? Team. Who do you need to support you? Who do you need so you can stay in your zone of genius? Your clients have an exceptional experience and everything runs in your business. And then insight. What do you need to measure to know what's working and what's not? So this at a really high level is what you need. And really, it's just about the right things, the right time, the right way, the right people, the right results. Pretty simple. Simple in theory, not simple to do in reality. We all know this. So other things it'll take to be successful, and then I'm gonna take you into the Strategic Ops Institute. Definitely you want agility and adaptability, right? You want to be looking at the fact that things are changing, things are going to continue to change. So how do you position your business in such a way that you can adapt to that and you could make those micro shifts as you need to, instead of waiting so long that you have to make a big dramatic shift and kind of start over? That usually does not, result in giving you the results that you want quickly enough. Definitely becoming more AI enabled. I always use the word AI enabled versus created, right? I don't think we hand things over to AI, but I think we look at where AI can support us to automate more, simplify more, streamline more. And certainly having the right-hand person to support you, which I think is absolutely critical. All right, you ready to learn about the new brand? Ready to learn about Strategic Ops Institute and do the giveaways? I'm ready. All right, so our new brand, Strategic Ops Institute. I am so excited. This has been a long time coming. We've been working on this for a really long time. What we do in Strategic Ops Institute, for those of you who are familiar with Lean Out Method, right, I help businesses scale in simple, sustainable ways in Lean Out Method. I work directly with the founders in Lean Out Method to do that. Well, one of the things that I help founders do is get themselves out of the day-to-day of their business by building up the right lean dream team and finding the right-hand person. So what I do in Strategic Ops Institute is I work with that right-hand person. I help elevate them to be what I believe all small business owners need to be successful, and that is a strategy and operations leader. That person who can blend strategy with operations to be that strategic thinking partner to the founder, to be that person that understands how all of the different puzzle pieces fit together, and to be that person that can orchestrate the right people in the right places in the right way in the right time to be able to bring the founder's vision to life and to be able to do it in a way that's really aligned and in a way that just they love the work that they do and the founder actually gets to do what they love instead of being stuck in what they don't. So the two brands fit beautifully together. Lean Out Method, we will do this for you, or we have our program, which used to be Simplify to Scale. I have rebranded it. It is now Ops Alchemy. Really excited about that. I'm not telling you about that tonight, but I will tell you about that more later. So Ops Alchemy is the way that you can do this and implement things yourself in Lean Out Method, or we can do it for you in Lean Out Method, or you can send your brilliant, amazing team of operational leaders to me, and my brilliant and amazing team, and we will get them mentored and trained and certified to be able to scale your business for you using my signature lean scaling system, which is SPSTI. And we really I'm so excited about it. I'm going to stop. Annie, Jack, and I have felt that even before all the things that we talked about today, the 3 big market changes. This has been something that's been in the work for a long time. And given a lot of the market changes and a lot of what we've seen this year, I was like, the time is now, because I want to change the game for operations. I want to help operational leaders to be able to position themselves and be, showcase the incredible value that they bring to a company. But I also want to help founders understand what they should actually be looking for in their right-hand person, because they want to scale, right? As founders, we want results, right? We want to make our vision a reality. And a lot of times we hire someone on the process that we're going to be able to do, or on the promise we're going to be able to do that, but they just aren't trained or skilled to be able to actually do what we need. And so this to me is where we're changing the game. And so the other thing that's really exciting about this is not only do people get trained and mentored and certified in it, they get to license my frameworks. So if you've ever watched what I do and said, boy, I really wish I had that system. Boy, I really wish I had that. Boy, you get it all. You literally get my entire business that you license as part of the new business, which is pretty exciting. So I call it your soul, your strategy and operations leader. I hope you got a lot of value out of today's episode and you enjoyed the behind the scenes of my Future of Operations workshop. If you'd like to catch the full replay, you can grab that over at leanoutmethod.com/ops replay and dive in and not just learn all about the future of operations and what you really want to be doing to set yourself up to scale sustainably next year and make those key operational changes that are needed, but also to get a sneak peek at the new Strategic Ops Institute brand. And even if you couldn't be there live with me, to celebrate the launch of the business with me. So again, head over to leanoutmethod.com/ops replay to access the full replay from our launch party. And with that, I will see you again next week. Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's episode. If you have not yet taken our scalability assessment, I invite you to head to leanoutmethod.com/assessment and take our interactive assessment that's going to help you look at how simple, how sustainable, and how scalable your business currently is. It includes personalized recommendations of where to focus next to get your time back, to increase your impact, increase your profits, and ultimately step into your rich, fulfilled life. And finally, we'd love to see you inside our signature program, Simplify to Scale. You can head to leanoutmethod.com/ops to find all of the details on how we can help you uplevel your operations and get out of the day-to-day of your business.